Raheem Sterling at the centre, another robbery at his house in Cobham. This is 2 and 3 years. 2 and 3 years. Is Raheem Sterling just very, very unlucky? Or does Raheem Sterling need to do more in terms of protecting not just himself, but more so his family? Welcome back to From the Shed and welcome back to the channel. An unfortunate piece of news has dropped. Raheem Sterling last weekend, whilst Chelsea were playing Wolverhampton Wanderers, was at the centre of another robbery attempt at his home in Cobham. It says here Raheem Sterling was targeted by masked men again. As police launch an investigation. Now, this looks like it happened late 7 p.m. on Saturday evening. Now, if you remember back to World Cup 2022, while Chelsea striker was away in Qatar with England, the criminals who robbed his house in 2022 was able to get away with £300,000 worth of jewelry. Now, this is the second time his home in Berkshire has been targeted, and it's interesting because I always think when it comes to for me personally, and I'm talking from personal experience now, my kids come anything, before anything, before football, before anything. I shouldn't even have to put football in that conversation. They come before everything and anything. Now I don't earn £325,000 a week, but if I did earn £325,000 a week, my kids would have the best security money could buy. My kids would be, and I'm not criticizing Raheem Sterling at all for this, because look, he probably thinks he's got enough protection and whatever else around him. But for your house to be targeted, one, successfully, 320, 300,000 pounds of jewelry robbed 3 years ago. So fast forward into today, and there's another attempt at your house. Something tells me that there needs to be an increase and heightened attempt at increasing security at that house. If I'm on £325,000 a week, I'm having around the clock security patrolling my house. Or I'm going one step further and my kids wouldn't even live in England. Now, of course, you expect when you live in a nice leafy area of Cobham, in a nice, Berkshire's a nice place to live, Surrey is a nice place to live. But that does also attract criminals. It also attracts people that want to come and rob your house. Now, did these burglars think that Raheem Sterling would be away in watching the Wolverhampton game at Stamford Bridge? Maybe. But you're at home, mass burglars coming into your house. Your kids are in the house, your wife's in the house. You gotta do more. I couldn't even think. I wouldn't even. For me, if I'm on that sort of money, I've got two options. I either move them out of the country. I move them. I tell you a good thing. John, I think it was John Joe Shelby the other day or the other week said that he actually wouldn't return to London. He wouldn't have his kids go to London. And I'm not trying to bash anyone that lives there or visits there, or my brother lives there. So I'm not even trying to bash anyone that lives in London. But I know my family live in London. But I think for me, you can't put a price on family. You don't know what's on the other side of that door of the people trying to get into your house and what they want to do, what their intentions are. Luckily, they didn't get into the house. Luckily, no one was harmed. Luckily, nothing was taken. But that situation from 2, 3 years ago would wake me up. It would wake me up because I wouldn't feel comfortable. If someone done that once, I wouldn't feel comfortable being in that house again. You've got a nice chunk of money every week coming in. You've got opportunities that some of us would never have. And I think for that reason, the security, and I'm not saying maybe the security is there already, but if they are, you need to change them because they're not doing a good enough job. If someone can get that close to you, take £300,000 of your jewelry, potentially harm your children, your family, you gotta ask the question: do you even need to be in that situation in the first place? Do you want to take them out of the country? Do you want to take them somewhere a bit more safer? Do you want to have better security? It's a massive shame that Raheem Sterling is in the situation that he's in, but you have to also understand that when you're on that sort of level of money, there can be no price that you can put on your family. And this will not be the last attempt. There will be other attempts. There will be other people trying to do this to Raheem Sterling and other footballers. He's not the only one being targeted. Reece James was targeted not too long ago. They stole his medals. Like this happens too often for footballers. This is not a Raheem Sterling issue. This is an issue with how can footballers be targeted so easily? I know a particular footballer, he doesn't even keep jewelry in his house anymore. Safety deposit boxes. Anything of value he doesn't keep in his house. He doesn't keep in his house. He puts them in safety deposit boxes and they're secure and insured. But to have that much, to have 300, to have that much level of jewelry in your house and available to take, you got to tighten up the security. As a footballer, surely you must know that. You're a prime target. Burglars know, robbers know when you're not in the house. They know when you're away at England duty or international duty. They know when you're up north against Newcastle or you're playing down south against Southampton. They know these things. You're on TV. You're in the public image. And it's just my opinion. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I'm wrong. I'm not saying that I think, I'm not saying that, attempts aren't being made to beef up security. But if this is happening twice in a space of 3 years, you have to question whether a little bit more could be done. Because £325,000 a week, I'm having 3, 4 security guards patrolling my house. I'm having an indoor security guard. I'm paying people. I've got people on the payroll. That's just how I would be because for me, security, I'd sleep better at night knowing there's security looking out for my family, especially if I'm not there as well. The same thing happened to him in Qatar at the World Cup. He had to fly home and fly back. If that's me, there can be no price. There's no amount of money that actually you could put on your kids' heads. But for £325,000 a week, there's a top Rolls Royce level of security you can go and get and still live comfortable. And I'm not blaming Raheem Sterling for this at all. What I would say is that footballers, and I'll just not just Raheem Sterling, but footballers, you've got no excuse. You should have the best security, gated, everything, everything, everything. There's no excuse. Living in a nice area does not deter away burglars. If anything, it attracts them. And hopefully, this is a wake up call, not just to Raheem Sterling, but to other footballers, other players in privileged positions where people want to come and take their things. Because at some point, this could end bad. It's a shame for Raheem Sterling. It's a shame because I think, under the circumstances, it's probably the last thing he needs. Not kicking footballs, not playing matches. He doesn't, he probably wants to get out there and play football. And he's stuck at home watching Chelsea whilst he should be playing for Chelsea. And someone's trying to rob his house. So I feel sorry for him. But you've got to do what's best for you. And if that means moving your kids and your family away from a situation like that, and you've got to do that. Because these could end in the worst case scenario. And we all know what that is. And it's a shame because again, he's not the only one that's targeted. There's others that have been targeted. Jack Grealish was a victim of this as well. There's a lot of footballers that this happens to. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang happened to him as well. So these things happen, and he was held at gunpoint as well. They actually broke into his house with a gun. If you're on that much money, these things can't be happening. You've got kids. These things can't be happening at all. The average person wouldn't allow these things. They have as much security as possible. That's one thing you can't even scrimp on and cut corners on and try and save money on. There's no amount of money that you can, even if you got to pay £325,000 a week and you spend all your money on security, your kids are safe. It's crazy times. It's crazy times, it's bad times. Don't forget, this week we're going to be having some content on the channel. So make sure you join the live streams, pre-records. But this one, Raheem Sterling, you got to do better. You have to do better. You have to make sure that your kids are safe. £325,000 a week. I'd have 5 people patrolling that property every single night and day. Every single day to make sure my kids are safe. It's an unfortunate situation that we're having to live in and we're having to do these things. But look at the way the country's gone. It isn't surprising. But for £325,000 a week, beef up the security, footballers. Come on, let's do better. Subscribe to the channel, like this video. Don't forget, live stream tomorrow as well. So hit the notification bell, Linktree link in the description. Until then, I'll be back tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday evening.